Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Tea with
Malobi
and Tomisin. And today we have some incredible guests in the building. We have UT Etim here, okay?
Yeah, we try.
We try, man. Today's that kind of day, you know. And we have Omagz, okay? Omagz, you dropped the 229, yeah?
I do not know.
You're not sure?
I haven't thought about it actually.
Okay.
So, this is the first I'm hearing about it. Breaking news.
Breaking news. We're not sure, but the 229 may have been dropped. Maybe. Well, it's crazy. So today's going to be really awesome. You guys tell us a bit about yourselves. Come on, talk to us.
And let's be honest, I'm tired. That's the first thing about me. I'm tired.
Is that because of life?
aging. I'm not even sure. Like, honestly, I'm perpetually tired these days. I feel like I'm approaching burnout, but I don't want to properly admit it to myself and take a break.
The life of an adult in Nigeria.
Yeah, suffering
That's
and
a dope name
smiling.
for an album, by the way. Approaching burnout.
Oh my God, write it down.
There's a notebook here, but there's no pen.
Oh, damn it. Okay, Omagz, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
I like to start introducing myself as a child of God nowadays. A father.
Oh,
a
daddy.
husband,
Okay, huzzy.
musician, entrepreneur, all that impressive shit that people like to say. But yeah, it's all true. I guess I'm a Nigerian that's just trying to make it out this hellhole.
I feel you. Aren't we all? So today's aperitif is super interesting. The moon is in moonshine. Mercury is in Lucozade, and Cancer is up my ass, okay?
It's not there in Jesus' name.
Okay, so like today's topics, as you guys already know, is interesting. As UT just told me, the moon is in Capricorn. Cancer is just leaving the building, and we are now entering into Lion season. And Omagz is a Gemini.
I don't know why that was necessary to say. It seems like you have a bit of animosity towards
Yes, I
Geminis.
do, but it's okay. We'll get there. So, Malobi, please, what sign are you? What's your sun sign?
I don't know what that is, but I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
What's your sun sign? That's what the sun sign is. The
Yes.
regular. So what are the other
Clarify.
types?
Clarify.
There's the sun,
Yeah.
there's the moon, there's the Mercury, there's the Venus, there's the Mars, there's the ascendant. So sun, moon, ascendant are the big three, or like three major ones that most people tend to, Then all the other ones mean different things, and we'll get there.
So when I say I'm a Virgo, that's my sun sign.
yeah,
What
so-
are my other signs?
How will she know? Did she give birth to you? Like what?
So you cannot. Okay, the sun is like the day you were born, and it affects the season. So you were. So what did you say your sign was?
I'm a Virgo. September 13th.
Yeah, so you were born September 13th. Virgos falls between certain time periods, so you're a Virgo. Your moon sign changes. The moon sign changes every 2 hours, from my understanding. So if you were born at say 12 a.m., your moon sign is different from if you were born 2 a.m. And then your ascendant is also dependent. I think that's the one that changes every 2 hours. Ascendant changes every 2 hours, and you need to know your time of birth to know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that, you need to know your time of birth. Moon, I think you need to know your location,
Where you were.
where you were born.
So that's like where the moon was at the time.
So I have
Right.
3 signs. I'm not a
Three major.
You
Virgo
have
only.
3 major.
Three major signs.
So I'm not just a Virgo
No.
You're a Virgo based on, I was born
on this day. Yeah.
But-
But the time and the location determine the others.
Yeah. So most people always know where they were born, but they may not necessarily know the time.
Mama, we learn every day. Right? I didn't know that.
Are you serious? So
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I did not know
so
that.
I know my sun sign. I know actually all my signs, but like my sun sign is I'm a Cancer. I was born 22nd of June 96.
Sorry.
I was born in Lagos on that day, so I know that my ascendant that's ascendant, right?
Yeah.
Is a Virgo. And I know that I was born at around 6, and so my moon
No,
sign,
your moon is the place you were
the
born.
place Lagos. So that was Virgo as well at the time of when I was born. So I'm a Virgo, Cancer, Virgo. Well, Cancer, Virgo. I have other ones, but let's not get into those.
I have like 1,000,000,000 questions to ask.
Sure.
That's fair. That's fair. What do you guys like? When you meet people, do you ask them these things? This is something that you ask on like a first date or like first meeting, or what makes you ask somebody what's your sign?
I don't ask sign. I just ask you when your birthday is. Then maybe at a later time I'll Google it if I'm interested in you enough to know.
Okay. Does it determine like your friendships or relationships?
It really doesn't. I get to know you because I mean there are people who I was friends with. Like ideally, our signs should have been compatible in some way, but then people fuck up now, and you have to decide if you're going to keep those people in your life. But for me to say, oh, I'm going to keep this person in my life just because they're Virgo, no.
But do you think that there are certain character traits that are associated with people born around the same time? Because I personally, I'm not really very knowledgeable, as you can tell, about these things. But I have found that Virgos have similar character traits to me, both negative and positive, especially negative. I have found that Capricorns have very similar negative traits as well. I found that Sagittarius people, they're all mad, generally. If you find it, just know that if a person is Sagittarius, doesn't mean this person is mad. This person is not normal, generally. Capricorns, sort of on the same line, do you get? And I find that my best relationships usually are with Cancers and Pisces women. Pisces men.
But nobody gets along with them.
I swear down, fuckers. So,
Omagz, you're looking very, very disheveled.
I'm observing. I'm just going to find out more information before I talk.
Okay, no problem.
So while I don't exactly understand why, I strongly believe that when you are born somehow affects your behavior. So even though I would not necessarily pick my friendships, it's very easy for me to tie your behavior
to your signs.
So is that valid? Or
I mean, I do think it's valid because, like, yeah, whenever like I randomly catch myself daydreaming when I know I have work to do, I'm like, yeah, that's very Pisces of me, like the airhead, always lost in her own world kind of thing. And I do tend to disappear a lot into my own head, and I know people who do that often, whether it's escaping into their own head or like escaping with the use of drugs, and nobody's judging. Enjoy yourself, everything in moderation. Like, yeah, there are certain attributes, but to say that, oh, I'm necessarily going to allow it affect the relationships I have with people or lack thereof, I think that's ridiculous.
I wasn't going to say anything. That's crazy.
That's fair. But have you ever met somebody who is just like maybe a Sagittarius? I don't particularly agree with Malobi and Sagittarius, but I think like every sign has a different relationship with other people, right? I get along with Capricorns, even though yes, they are mad to me, but I get along very well with Capricorns.
So which sign is not mad?
Cancers.
Oh yeah, I fuck with Cancers a lot.
But you're mad.
No. But here's the thing: there's levels to madness, right? There's even if you're mad,
you know, in Nigeria,
everybody is mad. Exactly, everybody is mad. But then there are people who, like, whether it's their sign or whether it's what they've been through in life or just who they are as individuals, are mad in a way that, like, you're like, this shit is mind-boggling. Like, why are you the way you are? She may have experienced that with quite a number of Capricorns, yeah? And that's framed her worldview. Me, I do have, like, opinions on Aries men that has framed my worldview. Like, they make brilliant friends. They make great friends. But I've been with enough of them to know that they are not necessarily the partners best suited to me as a Pisces flower. And
your character traits, right?
Exactly.
For most of the flowers, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo, Aries men generally, they seem to be very problematic.
That's which month?
It's like, that's the thing, it's not like basically months, it's because dates. It goes it's more about the dates, because most signs, if not all of them, like straddle 2 months.
So for example, Cancer starts 21st of June and ends 22nd of July.
Okay, so what period are we talking about?
We're talking about Aries people men between 20th of March and 19th or 20th of April.
Okay.
Terrible.
Now you're thinking about all the people in your life.
See, when they're good, they're good.
Your sun is an Aries.
Yeah, it's like 14th of April.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We also have the thing of, remember when you start out Australia, they tell you, developed and undeveloped, and
yeah.
But then you also have to remember that it's not just that one sign that
rules you.
There are different. How do I explain it? There are so many permutations of signs in like each person's natal chart that you cannot necessarily say, oh, it's because they're an Aries that they're doing this. Their Mercury might just have like a sign in Mercury that just isn't that great at communicating. So it's a bunch of things. Oh, how your partner shows love. Yes, your partner is like a Leo and he's fiery.
I think I'm getting a better picture. So basically, it's just a way of explaining human beings.
Yes.
Because we're a mixture of so many different things. Some people might be bad at communicating, but then they are very outgoing. That type of thing.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, the outgoing part of them is the Capricorn, and then the whatever is the this and
Exactly.
that. Okay, fair.
Can I ask something? So we've already said that it shouldn't necessarily affect your relationships and whatnot, but do you think that the zodiac in general is powerful enough to affect the way people feel? So people say, oh, like, I am being a bitch today because, oh, Mercury is in retrograde and it's affecting my this and it's affecting my that. Is that valid? Or are people just being dicks and not owning it? Because I feel like a lot of, like, especially in recent years now, everybody is very quick to resort to the moon and the sun and the universe as a justification for especially negative behavior.
People are
Do you
assholes.
think that it is possible? Is it possible from your point of view for the zodiac to actually have an effect on people's moods, people's actions, the way people think at a particular time, or are we just yarning dust?
I think it's a little bit of both, because
okay.
I mean, we're human. There are times that you really don't want to take responsibility for what you've done, because in your heart of hearts you believe that what you've done was the right thing or the proper thing to do. So you may decide to push the blame to like the stars, some of which are dead. Like you may decide to push the blame to the stars or the moon or like the lunar phases. Oh, this happened and that's what I'm blaming it on. So it's a little bit of both. They might actually be able to like control and like affect the way you respond to situations. It may be the moon, it may be Mercury in retrograde. It just feels like everything at that point in time is going wrong. Or it may just be that.
But Mercury is retrograding for everybody.
Constantly.
Why is it you that you are going? Do you understand?
Like,
I mean, the mixture can be different. That's
Yeah, the
how I
mixture
see
is
it. The mixture
different.
can be different. Your mixture with retrograde can be different. Retrograde can also it can also be like Mercury's in Cancer, right?
Yeah.
So like your I always say Cancer.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, because like I always say Cancer. Are you
Like
kidding
I
me?
mean, like retrogrades for the most part, from like my experience, Sha, are particularly bad with us water signs. Particularly last year, I think the retrograde was in it was in Pisces, it was in Cancer, it was in Scorpio, and whether it was the moon and the stars or just life kicking my ass particularly hard in those moments, it happened.
Can I give my slight explanation of how I see the situation?
Sure.
I see it as a type of spiritual thing. I feel like the signs just like there are people that are very in tune with their spiritual side. Things like, okay, I can feel this person's vibe. When, like me in person, if I meet somebody, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I can already tell the type of energy this person is giving off and whether me and this person are going to gel, or if there's anything I have to adjust to be able to be compatible with this person. I think that's a sort of spiritual thing. I think this sign thing, it's a way of explaining why some things are the way they are, yes, but because there's an explanation of something doesn't mean you can use that as an excuse. For example, I experienced this trauma when I'm young, so I react to this thing this type of way. We understand why you react to this thing this type of way, but it doesn't make it okay to always react to it that way. You can work on it now that you have the information. But always use that as an excuse and say, oh, it's in so I should just allow you to be a dickhead the whole time. No, now, I'll still call your bullshit out. Especially if you know it's in retrograde and you're still acting like a dick, should you not be preparing yourself from last month?
That's a very key point, because it happens every year. So you should know that during this time, there's a tendency for me to feel like this. So your bitchiness.
But you actually have to. That means you actually have to be interested in knowing that. That's just the truth. Because then there could be retrograde or be Mercury or whatever in one thing this year, but it's not going to be like that for another 2 years or 3 years or whenever it comes back to being in that particular space, and you find that, oh, actually it's in Scorpio now and I'm still feeling that way.
It might just be your own personal vibes.
Do you get it? It could just be bad vibes as well. But I know that you brought your natal chart, and so I really like to know more about you, girl, in case I want to date you, because I actually check. I'm straight, by the way, but I'm just saying. But like, I actually like when I meet someone who I vibe with and who I think, okay, yeah, this person let's just see. When I find out there are certain signs, I immediately, I don't back out, but I immediately like, I get a little bit defensive. Well, not like I immediately like have my guard up because I know that I have been in situations with particular kinds of people that doesn't work for me as an emotional person, as a water sign, as a Cancer. There are people that cannot handle the kind of person that I am, and that's fair. It doesn't. You might be an Aries who can't handle me. He might be a Capricorn who can't handle me. However, I know that specific signs don't work well with the kind of person that I am.
I hear that Geminis are not supposed to work well with other Geminis.
I hear Geminis don't work well with anybody.
It's like the specific. My wife is a Gemini. I'm a Gemini, and they said, it's not going to work out. You guys are you're too crazy. You're both too two-faced. You can never really know each other and understand each other. And it turns out that the absolute opposite happened. It seems like we're the only two people that understand a particular type of crazy.
But that makes sense because I feel like, me personally, I feel like Geminis are very misunderstood.
Thank you.
And that's not just talking because there's Gemini in my chart, but then the ones he seems like he has sense, right? So like supposedly. The ones, and your wife definitely has sense.
Allegedly. She does. I'm joking.
So like sometimes it's not even like being two-faced. It's that sometimes you just want people to like see what is in front of them. Like, and even if Geminis are presenting it in like the rudest ways, and that's not to say that a lot of you aren't full of shit, you are. But even if Geminis are presenting it in the rudest ways, at the end of the day, that's still their point. Yeah. For you to see like what is in front of you. Now they may go about doing that through backhanded and underhanded means, but then chances are that was just their
Wait, underhanded?
Yeah.
I thought we were like very honest and
but here's the thing, right? The thing about honesty is this. Are you being honest? Like, are you being honest and being kind about it? Or are you just saying it just so you can get your point across and hurt people's feelings?
Depends on if Mercury is in retrograde.
So, I think that, like, all in all, it's just best to maintain balance in everything. Yeah. Understand that when your Mercury is in retrograde, you can feel a certain way, but a dick is a dick.
True, regardless of the sign.
Do you understand? So like you can feel. So it's important to understand when you meet people as well that they might have certain character traits that may be associated with the zodiac in some way. That's very possible. However, what's good is good, what's bad is bad. Yeah. You can try to justify it. You can even try to say, okay, like you don't have a choice. But the fact is, an ass is an ass.
Yeah.
Jiggle.
I still really want to know your natal chart.
Okay.
I know we don't have that much time, but I would love to know that.
Let's go through it. Yeah.
Wow, it's a whole document.
I printed it out, guys.
Yeah.
Very diligent in certain ways.
I feel like everyone should really go and get to know.
You can use this one. I'll just use the app on my phone.
Okay, that's fine. I feel like everyone should really get to know because, like, your sun has a part to play in certain parts of you. I see here it says your sun is about your character, your identity, your ego, your will, your moon means something else, your fourth house, whatever. All those things, they have meaning. So get to know. If not for anything, just so that when you come out and you come here, you don't look stupid. Like
question. I thought that, by the way. But question. If you go online and you find out all these things about yourself, do you think it could be some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy? Instead of finding out who you are, you're being told who you are.
Sometimes, but then, like, for example, for the longest time, I calculated my ascendant wrong. But then it never felt like it made sense. Because my mom used to do this thing where she would not call me in school until it was 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Because that was when I was born. So I just went about thinking... I was born at 4 p.m. So I would calculate my natal chart and it would give me like Leo as my ascendant. And personally, I've never really felt like a Leo except with regards to like my anger. Which Mars rules like all of that. And I'm a Leo in Mars. I might have said something wrong, okay. But my Mars is in Leo and it's a very fiery sign. And I've known right from childhood that like I can get set off like that. I've learned patience though. So then I went to her like earlier this year and I was like, when was I born? You told me I was born by 4 and she's like, actually we're born by 1:20. recalculated. My ascendant is in Gemini. Gemini is the mask that you present to people, and then it made more sense. Like UT made more sense. And then sometimes you check it and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I've noticed that about myself. But then, like most things, my approach in life is take what you can, take what is relevant to you, leave the rest. If it doesn't make sense, maybe it wasn't the time or period in life for you to accept that information, or maybe it's just not for you. It doesn't apply because it's not everything that will apply now.
That's facts. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I just think everyone should like just go ahead and do some research. We are going to go off now and talk a little bit to UT about her natal chart, but stay tuned, stay watchful. We'll be back in a sec.
Okay, we are back to the Tea with MC, and we are speaking on our serious topic. Pour me a stiff drink. Now we're going to be talking about relationships, serious relationships this time, not you people that are in the streets doing whatever you're doing, people that have something real. What happens when, obviously, I don't know if, unless you're celibate, I think sex is a very important part of a relationship or any form of engagement, romantic engagement, sexual attraction, sexual compatibility. So what happens when you've been together for a while, or not even for a while, but you just stop feeling that sexual attraction to your partner? How do you address it? Is it normal? First of all,
I don't know. Well, it's happened to me once before, but then I was really young. Till today, I can't explain why it happened. One day I just got to school and I looked at her and I was like, ew. I don't know why, but it's like something flipped in my head.
cold.
But then it lasted for a minute until it flipped again. I was like, interesting. And so I don't know what that's about. But then in actual serious relationships, that has never happened to me.
That's happened to me once, and I was in quite a serious relationship then. It was many factors, to be honest, right? There were other things that were going on. My boyfriend was far away. He was living in a different city that was like far from where I was. And I had met someone who I became attracted to. So when I looked at him, I mean, this is not to say that my boyfriend was less sexy than he had ever been. Nothing was different about him. And we were also going through a lot of relationship stress. And when I looked at him, I saw stress, I saw distance, I saw a problem. When I looked at the other guy, I saw freedom. And
okay,
so
that's a different explanation.
When I looked at him, I didn't see sexual attraction anymore. I'm now seeing stress. But I'm looking at someone else who is now looking more attractive to me because there is freedom there. There's no stress. There's pleasure and joy. Right?
So, from your estimation, I might be wrong, but sexual attraction, if you're actually really attracted to somebody, not that you thought you were, you're actually really attracted to the person. If you stop being attracted to that person, it's probably more of an emotional thing than a physical thing.
Yeah, but
if nothing physical has changed.
Yeah, but I also feel like at that time, especially then, with any sexual relationship I was in, there was a lot of emotion too. So I kind of joined the two together.
And isn't it always?
No. Not always. But the fact...
I'm a Gemini, sorry.
The fact is, like, at that time, especially, emotions and sexual attraction were the same thing to me. Like, they were combined. So when there was emotional stress, there was no sexual attraction. Sexual, sorry, it doesn't work. But there was no...
Cancer, sure.
Yeah. So you get the emotions were full on, always. It's always about the emotional part of it for me. And so that did not allow that to work out. However, it changed over time. Once I told him, I was very upfront about it. I told him that this is what's happening right now. Yeah, it may or may not have made our relationship situation worse in the long run. But in the immediate, he tried his best to solve those problems in the beginning. Okay, we keep fighting because of this thing. Let's sort that out. We keep having this issue. Okay, we don't see each other enough. What can we do to make this better? So we had like, not like a rota or something, but I knew I will be seeing him in 2 weeks. He will come to mine in 2 weeks' time. Or we will go and not open our relationship, but like we would do exciting things.
No, but can I ask? So
We will spice things up, and it came back.
I think in your case, a lot of the factors that led to the death of the chemistry, so to speak, were like non-sexual. How about in cases when you guys are good and you've just been having sex? Because, you know, for you now, as you've said, like the great sex for you would come from both an emotional and a physical component. But there are some people who have a great emotional connection and the sex just becomes crap after a while. Like the attraction just dies after a while. So what would cause that?
Boredom.
But because here's the
monotony.
thing, I feel like, so sometimes you're with someone, you can be with someone and you say, oh, like we have great sex.
But
Do
lately,
you
the
get-
sex hasn't been that good.
But they're doing the same things. It's the same person. It's the same two bodies.
I feel
So
like-
what makes some sexual encounters great and some others not so great? Is it emotion? What is
No,
it?
not necessarily. I feel like sexual like attraction waxes and wanes. So like there are some times where like, oh, the sexual attraction between me and my partner might be at its peak. But then other times we're doing the same thing, whether like it's not even like relationship issues, but like life gets in the way and I just don't feel that sexually attracted to you. I'm not necessarily sexually attracted to anyone at this point in time, but I just don't feel that spark. It waxes and wanes, but I feel like the solution would be to just have a conversation about it.
Really and truly.
Like talk about it, whether it's a thing of, oh, we've been having sex, but it's not been great sex, so maybe we should take a break from sex and then figure out what's going on. Like get back into the romance of things and see if that re-sparks the sexual attraction. Or
Question, sorry. This conversation that you proposed, do you think it makes a difference if it's coming from the woman or the man?
I mean, who is feeling
who's
the
feeling
wane?
it?
It could be both.
Okay, it could be both. So both of you can decide.
But who initiates
Who
that?
initiates that
Exactly. And is it
conversation?
okay to even
personally-
have that
me personally,
conversation?
I don't think, to me, it doesn't matter who initiates the conversation. As long as we are having the conversation in an open, honest, and kind way.
Exactly.
I think women get very offended if you tell them you are not
I feel like
interested.
it's
think
mostly
no.
women that
I
would
think women
come out
get
and
very
talk about
offended.
it. But for a guy to tell you that, I'm not. See, and you know how men
Actually
talk.
disagree.
Well, here's the thing,
I
right?
disagree. I think that men are vocal as fuck.
I
When
think
they're very
men are
vocal.
Yeah,
But like,
men are
Women-
vocal
I
and
feel
they're
women
mean.
get very
I didn't
offended.
say
Maybe
that.
because we're mean.
I didn't say
Maybe
that.
because we're
It's
mean.
probably because
what
you
I
guys are mean.
said was that how men say it is not the same way that women will say it.
Okay, fair.
Men will say it. Men
To hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Cap.
They won't
That
say it to
cap-
hurt-
yeah,
they won't say
I
it to hurt your
disagree.
feelings, but the way they say it is
Will
never
hurt
the
your
same
feelings.
way that
We
a
would
woman
say
will
it.
go about it. A woman won't go about it in a way that could potentially hurt you. She will do everything she can to ensure that it is
Your ego is not
kind.
bruised.
I think we try to take
Okay,
ownership
fair,
a lot
fair,
of the time
fair,
and
fair.
make it seem like, oh, like, how can we improve this? Whereas the man is like, oh, babe,
You-
you are not riding like you used to. You are not doing this like you used to. Do you get? So, like,
Yep.
and I think it's very
people
key.
dealing with.
But we're dealing with men like you. When you say like which men are you dealing with, don't make it seem like it's far-fetched. The typical guy, when he's not happy with sex, doesn't try to be kind about it. The typical guy is going to try and blame you because he doesn't want you to say that his dick is weak.
Facts.
That is facts. Let's call a spade a spade. Yes.
Yeah,
Like a lot of the time.
See, let me be honest. Somebody blamed me for his erectile dysfunction, and I was just
Yeah.
looking at him like,
Yo,
But can I just say something? Do you know that he may not necessarily have a problem?
but
He may not necessarily have a problem. The fact is that for some people, sexual compatibility is
It might be just-
non-existent.
It might be you too.
That's the
Not
truth.
just him.
For some people, like after the
fair.
first few times that they've had sex, the excitement of the new pussy wanes, and the sex is actually not that great when your eye has
but
cleared.
like, what if it's not the first time? Like, what if it's not?
it's not.
the
She's not
second-
just the only person.
No,
So I'm
but not
saying-
even just that. What if
Yeah.
it's not what the this? What if this is the first time? It's not a. Oh, we've been having sex for a long time. This is the first time we have been talking. We've been, romancing and whatnot. And the first time I meet you, like the pussy is dry, or you can't get it up.
So the thing
Was
is,
it dry,
your
no?
body. Wait, have you not been with people where people who like you were really, really looking forward to having sex with, and it just didn't work out?
Yeah.
Sexual
That's
incompatibility
happened to me.
is a real thing.
I didn't blame anybody.
That is
so.
it. And I think that sexual, not just compatibility, but the ability to have good sex with someone, it could come and it could go as well. So it's not necessarily him that has a problem. He was being a dick about it, but it's not necessarily his fault. He doesn't necessarily need to see a doctor.
I think he does.
Doesn't necessarily need to see it. It might not be that.
So the thing is, I don't have any medical experience in this piece, but I can talk from personal experience that I feel for the most part it's not a doctor issue. There are some other factors that he's not looking at. Stress causes this shit a lot of the time. Nerves cause this thing a lot of the time. It might be the guy is just so he's been looking forward to that situation for such a long time that he's built it up so much. Like I have to perform. Then he gets there and his whole body is like, you're way too nervous to do this stuff right now. Nothing is going to happen until you can relax. It's not the end of the world. It's not Olympics. Nobody's giving you gold medal. You can calm the fuck down. And that happened to me before. And when I was able to calm down eventually, it was fantastic.
So
next episode, I would like your wife to come.
She was actually supposed to come today.
I
was supposed to bring her today, but she couldn't make it.
So I just want to know now, have you guys ever been in that situation where after a while you just stopped feeling the attraction, and how do you handle it? Should we just cheat? Or do we invite other people? Or do we find... I personally think that when things like that happen, you should first of all have the conversation in a way that is constructive and progressive. And I also think that people should explore and experiment. There's more to sex and sexual excitement than just touching breasts and sucking dick and penetration. There's so many things that you can do. There's so many ways that you can try to heighten the
senses.
Exactly, and try to enhance your experiences, things that will turn you on in such a way that you will see this person as attractive because you're having this experience with them. I don't think it's something that you should just lock up and go, okay, we don't like each other anymore sexually, it's over. But that's a lot of people.
It also depends though. If the relationship was a purely sexual thing.
I mean, who cares? If that one dies, on to the next. I'm talking about a relationship that you do care about, because in the end, there's more to a relationship than sex. You're not going to throw away everybody that you like just because you're no longer attracted to them. I mean, if you've been with somebody for 3 years, 4 years, I think it's justified for you to get bored.
I think we've actually skipped a very big question here.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing to answer is what actually makes an amazing sexual encounter? What are those things that make it what it is?
Okay, so there are two things. Number one, if it's just carnal, just straight up, we both think we're extremely hot and we have good sexual chemistry, it's going to be banging. Regardless, except one of the two parties, most likely one. We know who I'm talking about. Is most likely going to be shit at it, and then the whole thing will be shit. But if you have two people that genuinely like each other, so when I said what type of guys are people dealing with, I genuinely think babes need to get a whole lot better at telling if somebody genuinely likes them. The reason why I say that is this.
Oh, but niggas, they lie.
No, everybody they lie. Normal, everybody they lie. If you know everybody's a liar, you have to get better at weeding out the bullshit. Because if you genuinely like somebody, not romantically, I actually like this person as a human being, there's no way we're going to have that conversation and I want to say anything that is going to make you feel anything less than impeccable. So even in the whole conversation of, is sex getting boring? Are both of you boring people that were just lying to each other that you're not boring people? Eventually you will find out. No, you cannot lie to each other forever.
Maybe you're just in your 30s. And your back isn't what it used to be.
I was laughing when we were talking about, spice things up. People hear spice things up and the first thing they want to go is, eat ass. Why is that the first place everybody's going to? There are 1,000,001 things to do. We can sit down here naked every day and not touch each other. And just build that shit.
Build that shit, man.
And it's legal, Shy. You shouldn't do it.
But if you
can,
do it.
That's your business. I don't. But yeah, do whatever you do and just build that shit up until you can't take it anymore. There are 1,000,001 things to do.
Facts. Big facts. I think another thing to think about is also you talk about, men men will act like this or women would act like this, but like, do you feel safe enough to actually have that conversation with the person? Are you like? I think safety is something that we always take for granted. People, lots of women especially, don't feel safe enough to actually have those conversations and say, "This is how I'm feeling." Oh.
There are people who are stuck in relationships where if they even like told their partner, "Oh, I want to open the relationship," a partner would lose their shit. Like, "Oh, don't you think I'm enough for you?" Da 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 da. But sometimes you need asunder to bring balance to the relationship.
Fair.
She's
Fair.
actually not wrong, and it's paining me.
You need asunder to bring balance to the relationship. Or you could find somebody who wants the same thing that you want. However, people, particularly Nigerian men, when they want to open the relationship, they mean on one end. It's not open for their wives because niggas treat women like property. And how dare my property share herself with niggas like me?
But you're boring your property. Your property, she's.
But it's
do you
owned by you.
understand? She's not happy. Do you
Sometimes
get?
their property might not be straight.
Facts. On both sides.
Yeah.
I definitely am not a supporter of open relationships or that kind of thing, but I do know that it is a realistic solution for a lot of people. See, I've realized that this Lagos is wild. There are so many things going on behind the scenes that we don't know. There are people, respectable members of society, big men and women, like really, really elite bougie people, yeah, that are married, and they have taken on open relationships as a way to balance it out. I mean, I'm talking about people who have been married for 10, 15 years, who have like kids and whatnot. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying the facts.
Are they happy though?
If it was,
Well,
if
they
they're happy-
say that they are. They come off as happy because they have found a balance. You know, when I say open relationships, it's such a broad spectrum. Every relationship, every couple knows what works for them, and it might be difficult to find that. But for those people who are blessed enough to tap into opening the relationship as a way to solve that problem of sexual, I think that it's a viable option. I would rather you do that than cheat.
Oh, yeah,
I would rather you
definitely.
do you understand? I would rather you do that than like refuse to touch me, rely solely on self. Do you understand?
But we also have to remember that, like, when people say open relationship, there's also an open line of communication that everybody sees to
Fair.
miss.
For some people, they say open, but they want it to open. I just know that it's open. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, but
do
just
you
stay
understand?
safe,
Exactly. So you just need to find your own balance, and that's why I keep mentioning it as a vibe, because it is a viable option. This is like from personal experience. I know of people who have done that. Not like, yeah, people I know have done it, like, and they are still in those marriages. The people that they opened the relationships to, they played their parts and they left. Those who were meant to be there for a while were there for a while. So I definitely think that we should have more open conversations, more honest conversations, because it's not all the time that your talk about how to touch me will work.
Oh,
Do you
but
think
here's
it's kind of a cop out though? The whole idea of an open relationship. Because we have this idea. That the things that we aspire to do are supposed to be easy. Like, people want to do certain things. Oh, I want to become the fastest person in the world, and you want it to just, I'm that person. I want to have a successful relationship, but then you're looking for caveats. I feel
A
like
way
there are
out.
two things.
That's
If I
very-
love you
very
and I
fair.
like you, there is no way I am sharing you with somebody else. If I'm willing to share you with somebody else, I might as well be with somebody else. I'm not going to share this intimate part of myself with somebody and then come back to meet you, and then we kiki with each other knowing that we're going to meet other people. We are not married to each other. We are in a relationship with each other. I can understand if you're doing this boyfriend and girlfriend stuff. Cool, people are testing out the water to say, well, but if that's a marriage, we're literally saying we're going to converge our paths and do this life thing with each other. Why are there separate entities in our marriage? I think a marriage is a very spiritual thing. The way I described it in my vow, for somebody say I'm praising myself again. It was, at the beginning, we were together. The way I look at it, we're together in God, in the universe, in the spirit, or whatever you want to call it. Then we got separated by birth, and we found each other again. I found something I've been looking for my whole life. Why in God's name would I want to share this treasure with anything and anybody else that's not me. It's, from my viewpoint, it doesn't make any sense. If sex is that big of a thing that you're going to separate your marriage into 4 parts for it, then by all means, get divorced and do what you want to do now. If it's that big a deal, that's just the way I view it.
My heartstrings have been tugged on, baby.
You may not split it into 4. You may just split it once as per throuple.
Don't actually kill me. And on that note,
But then here's the thing, right? Here's the thing with dealing with married people. Shasha know at the end of the day that it is them against you.
Finish.
So when shit goes left, they will still be a unit regardless, unless like things are bad and they are better off separated.
Until you have that incest tribe Nigerian man that's going to decide that his babe is now his wife and you have no home there anymore.
Fam.
It's a dangerous game to play in Nigeria.
I think that just kind of rounds up that topic on like what happens next when sexual attraction dies. I think we've kind of had different points of views, different factors involved. So just think about it. What is the step that you're going to take if this happens to you? Just, get introspective. This is that time now. And if you are married, like our fellow boss over there,
Focus on your vows.
focus
As
on
you
your
have said.
vows.
Focus on your vows.
But then
And lock
wearing
up.
the ring has never stopped
You
niggas
might
now.
not want to wear your ring sometimes.
I mean,
depending on where you're going to.
it's what attracts them.
Because
It's like,
they're like
moths to a flame.
I swear.
Sometimes, and just leave me alone.
Okay.
No comment on that. Okay, so we're down to the final segment for today, which is our nightcap. And today we'll be talking about something that is a bit personal to all of us, but something we've probably come in contact with. Have you guys ever been with somebody that didn't smell great
Yes.
down there?
Yes. And it scarred me for the rest of my life.
How
Still
did you?
scarred.
I would like to know how you dealt with it. Did you yarn this person that
No.
Nope.
you're wrong?
Dead ass
Did you
wrong.
yarn
Yes,
the
I'm
person?
wrong, but
See, okay,
I didn't
so
tell anybody.
at the time, it wasn't that he.
Me, I told people no.
It wasn't that like the guy smelled off. Is that like my girl would feel off after. She would feel off after, more like, oh, I'm getting a yeast infection off after. But then here's the thing, right? He now traveled and my girl was fine. And then he now accidentally let it slip in a conversation that because men do get yeast infections.
They do.
That he had a yeast infection, but then he was taking care of himself. And then, well, how was he taking care of himself? Because he's a particularly clean person, but then he's not taking meds for it.
They'll tell you they're eating fruits.
He's eating
Oh,
fruit.
I
He's
said,
eating fruits.
They're
and
eating
washing
fruits and
his
washing.
dick.
It's an infection. Do you treat malaria by bathing?
So but I think the general
Yes.
assumption that people have
What?
is that
it brings the temperature down.
My friend.
Cold water.
I think
Cool
the general
yourself.
assumption that people have is that, oh, when someone smells bad, oh, she's a dirty guy, she's a dirty babe, go and yarn your friends in the group chat, block the person. But there are certain things that could cause a not so pleasant smell down there that are pretty serious. So, as we are always doing the Lord's work, we're here with a few reasons why you might not smell so great down there, and we are letting the masses know that you are not supposed to berate. You should research and educate. So the first thing,
Am I supposed to be here for this one?
Yes.
the first thing, and I'm here for my women because this is a very, very, very common condition that women go through, is bacterial vaginosis. It's one of the many things that we have to combat as women down there. But this in particular gives off a fishy smell, and a lot of babes go through it. Like between like the ages of like 14 and like 40, a lot of babes go through that, and it's such an embarrassing thing. A lot of babes don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to acknowledge that it's there. So they go and start trying all sorts of remedies as opposed to just going to the doctor and telling them. If you come in contact with someone like that, if you detect a fish smell, please note there is a high possibility that because the babe has BV. So as opposed to saying, oh, she smells bad, just ask her like, are you okay? You should get checked. I feel like you might have something.
Also, if you're that kind of person who's like really like into this person, or if you yourself as a babe, you can check like your discharge.
Exactly.
The color, if it's
Color,
like
the
grayish,
the smell.
the smell, if it's grayish, just you have BV. Just go to the pharmacy. Okay, they know what to do. They'll give you the right medication. Take it, you'll be fine in like a week. Simple.
Exactly. Now, another thing which is applicable to both men and women, because men always think that they don't get infections down there. They do, brothers. Take notes. Men have thrush. Men infect women when they are not. So I have heard of people who had sex with people and they got thrush. I know. It could give off a smell. Sometimes there could be like a little bit of crust. I know. So ladies, check those dicks. Men, check those dicks as well. Be sure that your partner is clean. And if you notice a negative reaction after having sex, please don't take it for granted. There's most likely something wrong. So have that discussion and address it. Now, last but not least is like a more serious, you could actually have an STI. Things like chlamydia, for example. I like to use chlamydia because it's very common. A lot of people contract chlamydia without knowing. One of the ways that you might discover that you do have chlamydia is a foul smell. So men in the house, ladies, anybody really, if you come in contact with either yourself or somebody else, as opposed to shaming the person or feeling ashamed, understand that a lot of the time, I mean, there's the dirt part, you should clean yourself. That I'm not going to discuss that because really, we're
discussing proper hygiene. Please, there.
I think that proper hygiene is a non-negotiable. But after you have done the basics, when you notice that there is a less than pleasant smell, and just to clear up a myth, your vagina is not supposed to smell like roses. Your vagina is not supposed to smell like pineapple. Your vagina, so like, let's dead that myth. There is a smell that comes with that. There's a funk that comes with that, especially when like sweat and all are introduced. But when Exactly. But generally, you should take out time to cleanse yourself with water, clean water. Avoid things that are not natural, things that don't belong in there. Don't, in the name of being a freak, go and put like some, exactly, like those things do not belong in that area. And also, I feel like a lot of the time we rely very strongly on home remedies. I was talking about how some people put things like garlic in their vaginas to cure certain diseases. I don't know. I cannot verify the usefulness of those things. I just find it very weird. I mean, is it treated garlic? Is it like medically approved?
No.
Is it, do you understand?
You
can't. Exactly. Yeah.
Because I mean,
is it chicken?
It's no, that's the thing, right? Apparently, because when I read it online, I was just like, "Are you serious?" Like, so you slice the garlic in half and then you
put it in, and those things could give off a negative reaction that even when you take it out, it would destroy or fuck with the balance of your cooch. So take it seriously, you guys. Pay close attention to your privates. Make sure that your hygiene is always top notch. And when in those few cases you come in contact with people who are not that pleasant, as opposed to mocking them, please have honest adult conversations and help them to understand that they might need to be seeing a professional about it.
But after that, can you make jokes?
I mean,
it depends on the relationship.
Bro, don't ever joke about my fucking vagina smell.
My wife is funny.
No, my vagina is not a joke. Are you joking?
Come on.
Okay, guys. Well, this was an awesome episode of the Tea with MT. We have UT in the building. We've had Omagz. It's been awesome having you guys. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks, guys.
On today's episode. It's been lit. I hope you guys have learned something. You have taught us well.
You have
learned something.
Absolutely not. I don't know that damn thing.
Wow. I hope you guys learned something. Please follow us on the Tea with MT Pod on all the DSPs and on Instagram. You know how we do. We'll be back for more tea on our Instagram lives and on our channel too. So stay tuned, guys.
Love you.